Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Monday Mojo with me, Coach Mo. It's another beautiful Monday morning here in South Florida, and I have a new coffee mug. I am very busy. Good busy, of course. Thanks, Mom, for the new coffee mug. Well, thank you for joining me today. If you read my brief email, you know that today we're talking about one of the top talents that women have. And interestingly enough, men and women both have the same top four talents on average using the StrengthsFinder 2.0 assessment. That's kind of interesting, right? I would have never guessed that. And I'm sure that that makes you go, like it does for me as well. They're not necessarily in the same order. And what we do know is that when you look at all of the talents that men and women have in order, women tend to shine a little bit more with those talents that have to do with relationship building, and men have to have men shine a little bit more with those talents that have to do with strategic thinking. Today, though, I wanted to share with you that top talent in the top five that begins to separate the subtle differences between men and women when we look at relationship building. And that talent is empathy. I love this talent. How can you not like the talent of empathy? I want you to think about those individuals in your life, in your career, in your team that have that ability to just listen really well and put themselves in your shoes and truly understand whatever it is that you're going through in that moment. And it's not that we have to be going through something, but they just are able to connect with what you're feeling, with what you're emoting, right? And you really feel like you're being heard and understood. It's such an important talent to have in leadership today. With the number of people who are disengaged, one of the things that we know is that people become more and more engaged when they feel heard, when they are able to connect with someone and know that someone's got their back in their team and on the job, right? So this skill of empathy is really beautiful. Um, Interestingly enough, for me in my career, I share with people that I've had both really great leaders and really, really bad leaders. And the reason I know that they're bad is because when you compare them to the good, you see it. You see it very, very clearly, and you're able to feel it. And so, one of the best bosses, leaders that I ever had, has empathy in her top five. And she showed it beautifully. She connected with people on a very deep level. She definitely really understood where you were coming from and had kind of like this open door policy, come see me, let me know what's going on. And she was very open and honest with you, but she really understood you, right? And put herself in your shoes, and you felt safe around this person who was a very high level leader in her organization. And that's great to have. So let me share with you a little bit more about the qualities of empathy. So someone with empathy is exceptionally talented because they can sense other people's feelings by imagining themselves in that person's lives and in that person's situation. So they are a very emotional person. Okay, bottom line, that's something that they have at their foundation, and that we can cherish when we feel it and when we're around it. They make the visceral very explicit, right? So they take something that's out here that most people wouldn't even tune into, and they just bring it in and they feel it and they understand it. They bring emotional intelligence to everything that they do, especially if it's a top talent for them, right? And we know that emotional intelligence is critical for important and effective leadership. They need freedom to laugh and to cry, right? And again, maybe not everybody appreciates this, but when you've been around enough leaders who don't seem like they really care, you don't mind if someone gets a little emotional at that level. They love the gladness, sadness, madness, of humanity. They love it all, right? They don't need to just experience one type of emotion in life. They like everything. Throw it all in the bag, give it to me, and they want to feel that. They want to connect with people at that level. They hate those things that block or limit emotional expression. If they can't be who they are and they can't emote, then you're not getting the best of them. Okay. And eventually, a person who has empathy and is asked to kind of stuff it down is not going to do well in that organization, in that team, or with that leader who's asking them to kind of control yourself and don't show your emotions, right? In the workplace, we all need to control and manage our emotions. But part of authentic leadership is being able to show who we are and to what makes us feel as humans and as leaders. So the metaphor or image for someone with high empathy is that a person's effect will often determine his or her effect, right? And then finally, the barrier label for someone with emotion, with empathy, is a bleeding heart, right? So when we are not conscious that a person has this trait, this talent, this strength of empathy, we may be labeling them with, oh, well, they have a bleeding heart, right? They fall for any softie out there, and they're not strong enough. But that only is seen with someone who's not willing to look a little bit deeper to the talent and the unique strength of a person with empathy. So I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about empathy. I'd love to hear from you. Comment down below if this is a talent that you think is strong for you and how that shows up for you day to day with your team, in your career, even at home. How does that show up? And is there someone on your team that has it? I'd love to learn a little bit more from your perspective on how empathy shows up, how you feel about leaders who have empathy. So thank you for joining me today. Next Monday, we're going to continue with the relationship dimension of the talents found in Strengths Finder 2.0. And then once we're done with relating, we're going to move on to strategic. And then we're going to have all of our top 34 talents that we all have at different levels, right? So again, have a fantastic Monday, and I'll check you out next week. Bye-bye.